It's Quest.
Sandwich.
Oh, Jess, stop. Jess, we're not up to that part of the show yet.
I went back to KFC for the first time in years last week.
Jess.
Sandwich.
All right, hey, calm down, man.
Wow.
Calm down, Jess. Hey, we haven't introduced you yet.
Oh,
Sandwich.
Listen. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Quest. I'm Ben. I'm joined, as I always am, by Jess.
Sandwich.
who is not a selection of 10 voice clips. While he and his family enjoy a lovely summer vacation. But not a special guest host, only a guest, and let's not forget that. This isn't like a Joan Rivers situation.
Or a Jerry Lewis situation.
Did Jerry ever guest host the Tonight Show?
No, he had his trial run as his own talk show.
Obviously, I know that. We watched that together, Grayson. Joined by Grayson.
Yeah. the new Jess. Ben, how does it with Jess here but limited in speech? Do you feel like you're taking over as the deep voiced alpha of the show?
Yeah. Are you saying that I have a deeper voice than you? I don't know if that's true.
Do we have a similar take?
Well said.
Oh, hold on. I have to turn up Jess's mic.
I agree, Ben. Well said.
That's right. Thank you, Jess.
That's true. I don't know. Do we have similar registers? Timbres? What's the word?
We have similar Jeffrey timbres.
We have similar Jeffrey tambors.
How you doing, Grayson?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. It's it was a little behind the scenes. We were talking about the weather, and we're in that pretty nice period that's about to be horrible.
Yeah. What is the weather over there in New York City?
New York City. I think
a half-assed attempt to do a Matt. I was like, in my brain, I was like, don't do the Matt Berry New York City, because I can't do it. He's
inimitable. Yeah.
And then, but it's very difficult for me to say New York City now without hearing Matt Berry say New York City.
Yeah, it definitely has wriggled in there and just gotten stuck in the brain. Because what an all-time line read. But I think we're warming up here. We got 80 today.
Hey, this is a video game podcast, Grayson. So how about you say it's heating up?
It's heating up. We're on fire. What's some other Jock Jams stuff of the era? Ram-a-lemon Ding Dong. What did he say?
Oh, it's Boom Shakalaka.
Boom Shakalaka. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
I don't know. Every barcade worth its salt has an NBA Jam because those earn. People just see a NBA Jam even in 2026 and they'll drop some quarters.
And it's 4-player. I think unlike a lot of arcade games, you can get all the homies onto it. You don't have to be like, oh, let's watch 2 people play a game.
But I haven't played. I don't think I've played NBA Jam. I don't recall actually ever playing NBA Jam on an arcade cabinet. I've played it. I've played it on the Sega Genesis.
I don't know that I played it.
Play it with my neighbor.
It seems likely I did, just because it was so popular. But I can't say for sure that I ever played it in the arcade before it became a barcade staple. I definitely played it also on home console.
Yeah, it was on, and I'm sure the Genesis version isn't nearly as good.
Well, the Genesis version has blood. That's the big difference.
Shut up. Is it the Genesis version that you can play with Bill Clinton on your team?
Oh, so there, I don't remember. I had a game. I think one of the. It might have been the same. Was this Midway? Midway was
Midway made Midway. Chicago Zone Midway.
They made I think it was Midway made a follow up that I played on the Nintendo 64 called NBA Hang Time. That one definitely had a bunch of funny characters. It had Clinton and aliens and stuff. I don't remember if an earlier one had those.
Did it have big head mode?
It did have big head mode. It had all the Mortal Kombat-esque cheats that you could input, while the game booted up.
Yeah. You like kind of like tile through.
Yeah.
Just for those who might not either be familiar with the previous podcast that you've been. I mean, you're guest hosting. Grayson streams with me. Adventure Tuesday. PS_Garrick. He's also the creator of the critically beloved prequel to Codename Iceman, titled Kid Name Ice Boy.
Now that I've made that a thing in the world, I now have to. I confuse those so easily because they're 4 very similar words.
Yeah, and no, I had to do some real work.
Yeah, and because I have arrived at a point in my life where I, for some reason, talk about Codename Iceman a lot. This is a regular problem for me, where I'll be referring to one or the other, and I'll say the wrong one, or I'll say some novel combination of those components.
Grayson, that's horse shit, and you know it.
Jess. Jess and I have that kind of rapport, though. It's fine.
Do you know that this has been throwing me? Have you heard of this? There's a musical called Ice Boy.
Is there?
There's a musical there. It's in Chicago right now.
Okay.
And I keep seeing advertisements for it.
Is it like what's Ice Boy about?
And,
is it like a caveman
and guess
generated from ice?
Guess who's starring in it?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
No. Beloved married couple and sitcom stars Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman.
Really?
And I'm kind of being sarcastic, but actually that is probably a lot of fun to see.
I mean, they're
see
both
the two
really,
of them. They are
they're both
pretty
wonderful
yeah.
entertainers. They're both very funny.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a time when Nick Offerman, he was so saturated in the culture that there was a time, just a small window, where I was like, you know what? It's not like I dislike him. He never went that far, but I was like,
no.
I've seen enough Nick Offerman. Saying. I've seen enough Nick Offerman for a while.
But I think he knew either he or his career just slowed down enough.
Yeah.
Like,
now I'm like, ooh, Nick.
Yeah, he kind of he hit a cultural saturation point, and also kind of like, there was that moment where it was like Bill Murray showed up to my wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Nick Offerman and Bill Murray are like massive levels of fame apart from each other, but they were kind of in a similar genre of, it's like, whoa, Nick Offerman liked this thing, but now but he pulled back like just when he was a little too oversaturated, and now it's just delightful.
Yeah, now I'm happy.
And Megan Mullally's hilarious.
And yeah, she's. I've never been tired of seeing Megan Mullally.
No, maybe I should see this. It closes in August. I bet these tickets are pretty expensive.
Yeah, right into the show if you saw Ice Boy and know what it's about.
It is. It's here you go. A musical 40,000 years in the making. Good start.
Mm-hmm.
Broadway.
That's a reference to Jurassic Park, which came out in 1993, foreshadowing for later.
Okay. Very good. Broadway's brightest star of 1939. I'll note that's not 40,000 years ago.
No.
Vera Vim, Megan Mullally, is at the top of her game until she adopts a 40,000-year-old Neanderthal discovered frozen in the Arctic.
So it is a caveman story.
And as Ice Boy thaws, he unexpectedly becomes a theatrical sensation, inspiring Eugene O'Neill, Nick Offerman, and challenging Vera for center stage. Now, I will note that this synopsis isn't promising. But you know what? Also, I don't know very much about Eugene O'Neill, in fairness. But you know what? Mission accomplished by the Goodman Theater. I still will see it despite how baffling, or will consider seeing it and go like, too expensive. Because I like Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally. Yeah. That's their power, and that's why they were cast.
The floor seems like it's been raised quite a bit with both of them, on the playbill.
I think they're going through this theater. I think they also recently had Jenna Fisher in a thing, and so maybe they're running through, your NBC comedy stars of 15 years ago. Right now.
Yeah. Tina Fey next.
I think Tina Fey might be a little too big.
She's too big, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think she's definitely bigger than Jenna Fisher, but she's probably, I mean, she's she's too big. Too big for a 2-horse town like Chicago.
Yeah, that's true. She's bi-coastal.
I agree, Ben. Well said.
Thank you, Jess. Oh.
Well, here, Ben, get ready.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Jess, we're always on the same wavelength. It's like we're always finishing each other's.
Grayson, that's horse shit, and you know it.
Guess I should have expected that.
Is it going to be unbearably hot in New York next week too? Because it's going to be 90 degrees Fahrenheit here in Chicago next week.
I think it's supposed to get pretty hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking miserable. But speaking of miserable things, what have you been playing, Grayson?
I just finished a little while ago Mina the Hollower, the beloved new top-down kind of Zelda / Castlevania / a little Dark Souls-y pixel adventure game.
Grayson?
Yeah.
Here's a question. You know my tastes generally. Mm-hmm. Would I like it?
I think so. It's I think the main sticking point for people who both for people who like it and dislike it is its difficulty. I think it's tuned pretty high. If you're not like a regular big time action game person, especially one that's like that kind of top down game, you might find it a little more difficult.
It looks like a Game Boy Color.
Yes, it has.
Game, right?
It's very much like a
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, this is Yacht Club. They made Shovel Knight, right? Yeah. So they have a really keen interest in this in that kind of style. And yeah, this is kind of really riffing off the Link's Awakening kind of look and feel. But they take it into this like, what if it was kind of this gothic-y sort of Dark Souls Castlevania thing? It looks beautiful. Like the pixel art's all very wonderful. I think you'd like it, Ben. It's cheap. It's like $20. You know
the thing. It's so interesting. Me with like kind of difficult action games, because sometimes like I play it and I go too hard, bounce off, and then sometimes like it is just tuned to like my like I'm gonna grind through this level, and I don't know what that is. Like I don't know what it is that like if I'm playing like if Dead Cells is pretty tough. I love Dead Cells. So, I see you narrowing your eyes.
Yeah, it's the kind of, I've never played Dead Cells. I've seen you play Dead Cells. I think it's the kind of game that really wants you to, when you die, to go like, ooh, I'm gonna get you. It wants you to,
that's exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Like,
I think it's the kind of game, especially moving forward, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I always meant to try that. And then it'll be like $10 on a Steam sale. And you'll go like, yes, now's the time. So, I think it's good. I agree.
What is there, I'm going to reveal this. It's the Steam sale, so maybe I'll knock this out right now. I've never played Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight's pretty fun. It's a very, it's at this point, you know, 10 years old, something like that. So I haven't played it in a minute, but I bet that's a game you could have for quite cheap these days.
Like
very, very finely tuned action game as well. If you say nothing else about Yacht Club, they got the game feel down.
Yeah, you know, that's a funny thing. Like, I've found myself falling into holes where I do get pulled into those difficult action games where, like, I avoided Shovel Knight specifically because it had the reputation of being a tough action game. But now I'm starting to realize that I kind of like those.
They're very, I think they're tough in a very straightforward way where it's being tough in exactly how you think it will be. So I don't think it's pulling one over you. And I don't know, it's a game you sit down and you're like, it's supposed to be a kind of tough, old-fashioned kind of game. So I think at least for me, when I play one of them, I go into it thinking, yeah, I'm gonna die a little bit. That's fine.
Do you cry a little bit when you die? I
will eventually cry and pass it to my older brother and make him beat the hard bosses.
Now, does it have like the Game Boy Color like resolution, like kind of a narrow like kind of box, or I don't know. Like, is it 4:3? Is it widescreen?
I think it's widescreen. I remember with Shovel Knight, they were very particular about. They cheated a little bit, but they were very particular about it being, I think, NES accurate, even though it's like a widescreen game. There's a lot of the design is like, well, this could be on the NES. I don't know if they had a specific kind of target with Meat of the Hollower in mind, but you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, this feels like a Game Boy Color game. It feels they were at least targeting that aesthetically.
I appreciate that we are definitely like. Because there was the era where, and like Shovel Knight was at about the end of it, where like there were so many NES throwback games, and like yeah, you know, then we've also seen a lot of like kind of SNES style throwback stuff, and like kind of Genesis throwback stuff, but. It is interesting and fun to me to see people start to do throwbacks to like kind of weird, like to handhelds and things like that.
Yeah,
like I played a game that had like a Game Boy Advance, like the oversaturated, like too bright colors, like look, and I was like, oh, this is neat.
There's a game coming out. I'm blanking on the name. I apologize, but it's a riff on Zelda 2.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure if you search too. Yeah, I'm sure if you search Zelda 2 throwback video game, some combination of those things, you'll find it.
I'm gonna do that.
But yeah, that's just to say that like we're at this point where there's so many people with so many games that they grew up with or have come to really like grow fond of, that you can find kind of spiritual successors of all sorts of stuff.
I'm gonna have to type in Adventures of Link, because typing in Zelda throwback game 2026 is just giving me Ocarina of Time.
That's very true.
Of Link 2026 throwback. Because yeah, because you know, everybody. I can't find the name, but everybody, you all know it. You're listening.
Yeah, write in if you're making this game and are mad that we didn't promote it by name.
It does look cool.
It looks cool. Yeah.
There's a demo during the demo fest, the Steam thing. Anyway, cool. I've been playing Master of Magic. Have you ever played Master of Magic?
You know, I never did. I don't think I ever got around to that, even though it's obviously a at this point, very famous kind of canonical PC game.
It's like a canonical Civ-like. And the thing is that, so I played Master of Magic In 1995, I played it when it came out. We had it. I bought it at Toy Works, and I really loved that game, Master of Magic, which is like kind of a it is like a Civilization 1 riff with fantasy. Like, instead of being civilizations, it is a for like real world civilizations. It is like you are various wizards building kingdoms of various creatures and fantasy, like orcs and lizard men and gnolls and shit like that. And so you build your kingdom, you fight the other wizards. There are multiple ways to win. And one of its bigger, you have spells, which is obviously not in Civilization. It's also that it has like a tactical battle system where you control the battles, which is a lot of fun. And I played Master of Magic before Civilization came out. So when I later went and played like Civilization and other games like it, other 4X games, I was always like kind of surprised and disappointed that you didn't actually control the battles. It was just like, mash the two armies together and roll a die and then be like, you win.
Have you ever played the Age of Wonders games? Are those
Are those
supposed to be a Master of Magic kind of torchbearer?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So I was just about to say, so I'm actually playing a couple years ago, there was like a modern Master of Magic that came out. And I bought it. It had like kind of mixed reviews. And so I bought it and then just like kind of kind of sat in the Steam backlog. And I got this week or last week, I got the Steam controller. And so I was just like, oh, that might be kind of a fun test case of playing a game on my TV that I couldn't otherwise play with, my normal controller. And so been playing it with my Steam controller, which actually feels great. Like playing that type of like 4X game on it with like the two track pads and the two analog sticks. Like use like the left analog stick to move the screen around and the right trackpad to move the cursor around. Actually feels really good. I understand playing, like I haven't played too much of this remake. The remake has a big remake problem, which is that you can't. Master of Magic has so many shooters and so many people that love it that they're saddled with that they have to remake, like especially because it's been so long. So they just have to make modern Master of Magic.
Yes.
And so like they're kind of hemmed in, as far as I could tell, not having played too much of it. But it's like I play it and I didn't even like do a tutorial. I was just like, oh yeah, this is Master of Magic, except now there's hexes. like that's the 21st century move. It's like right. now it's in hexes. We really gotta move to hexes. The superior man's grid. And what do you think about that, Jess? Do you like hexes?
I agree, Ben. Well said.
All right, he loves hexes. That's not the only different thing. And the funny thing is that I haven't really done any of the tactical battles. The thing that I said was my favorite thing. There is a auto resolve button, and I've been like, yeah, I don't want to do any of these.
I played a little bit of there's a new Heroes of Might and Magic called Olden Era.
Yes.
Which is
yes.
I played a little bit of that over the past couple of months. Also a throwback. And the same thing where if you run
into the Zelda 2 game is Enigma Heart.
Enigma Heart.
Enigma
Heart. Looks very cool.
It's very neat.
But it's the same thing. Olden Era, a game, also a strategy game where you run around a map and then you zoom into a tactical battle. And whenever I have the ability to skip one of those battles, I'm like, boom, auto resolve. Let them flee. Like, I'm like, I don't want to do this.
I mean, those battles are like the Heroes of Might and Magic thing.
Yeah, I see you still wind up doing a lot, but I take that up.
There are a lot of trash battles in Heroes. I have also been playing Heroes. I don't think I've talked too much about it on this podcast. I'm waiting. It's early access. I'm waiting. Like, it feels pretty good. It does a good job of, flattering my memory of Heroes 2 and 3. But looking at their roadmap, it does look like they're going to add some like new and interesting things. Anyway, yeah, I've been playing Master of Magic 2, the new one, mostly to just see how it feels to play a 4X strategy on my TV with the Steam controller. And you want to know what? Feels good. Feels good. The game itself, it's Master of Magic, which is a classic. So, but here's the thing. I'm kind of like, maybe I'll just play the DOS. Like I could just, in fact, I could probably just do that on my Steam Deck. Just drop the DOS game on there and play it that way.
I played a somewhat older game on my Steam Deck pretty recently.
What did you play?
I played a little game called Return to Zork.
Getting a little bored? Getting a little bored with this conversation?
I'm trying to fill in the steady hand that Jess normally brings.
Jess is not the steady hand. If Jess was here, we would go way longer. We'd go way longer.
I agree, Ben. Well said.
We'd be on sandwiches still.
Grayson, that's horse shit and you know it.
Jess does have more than 3 things he could say.
He gave me a bunch. I have to cycle them. But yeah, sure. Let's talk about Return to Zork. Just like NBA Jam. Wait, no, NBA Jam was 95. What was the other 93?
Jurassic Park.
Nice one. But, all right, well, you pulled us into this shit. So what's Return to Zork?
Return to Zork. This is your idea, Ben. I don't know why I'm leading it, but I'll say it. Return to Zork is a 1993 adventure game by Activision. I think it is the game that launched the recently incorporated Activision, I think. It launched the career of one Bobby Kotick.
Yeah. So it now is well-deserved retirement. So not recent, so Activision, as we know, that starts with all the former Atari guys. They go make Pitfall and Keystone Capers and all those wonderful games, and then after that they have a really terrible 80s, really terrible 80s, which involves Activision. Which involves there's a point where they try to rename, they do rename to the Buzzy for trying to trend chase name Mediagenic, because multimedia, that was the future.
We're gonna be talking about multimedia. That's Return to Zork.
Here's the thing, this should be a Mediagenic game, not an Activision game for sure. And the flailing around 80s Activision purchased, I think they framed it as a merger, but it was a purchase, the ailing Infocom, which Infocom, which had, you know, the storied creator of text adventures and like the Zork games. Infocom not only was kind of stuck with that, they just kept making text adventure games and they were like pivoting to graphics far too late. I think they were actually part of Activision at that point, but also they had spent, like, had lost an enormous amount of money on this like professional database software scheme called Cornerstone, where like is Infocom had like half of the company was trying to make business software, and they put all their resources in one in one program, and it failed, and then they had to be bought, I think is the short version of it. But anyway, so Mediagenic Activision ends up like, you know, like just a really terrible situation, and in comes Bobby Kotick, and he like to this like flailing and failing company, and one of the things, to my understanding, that was like an early breakout hit for Activision was a compilation of Infocom games that they just like were like, all right, here you go for like, you know, however many, like $40 or however much.
Yeah, I mean that's
like,
one of those.
They just sold all like half of the Infocom catalog, and it was a big hit.
Mm-hmm. That's one of those. If you're entering 1993 mode, you have to like Zork, like Infocom and Zork were very popular PC games, right? These were they were good sellers. They were like, if you were an adventure gamer of the time, these were just games you would know and have played, right? These obviously have fallen out of the kind of zeitgeist, but
it was Lost Treasures of Infocom, 1991. They sold it for $99, and it sold over 100,000. Like, I'm looking at Wikipedia now. It sold over 100,000 copies, and like all these games were made. It was already done. Like it was just like, here's a CD or a collection of floppies with a whole bunch of shit that has already been made and will definitely work on your computer. Like and so like that was just, it was a huge hit of like development cost free, you know, game.
100,000 copies too. Also a pretty
100,000 copies at $100 each.
Yeah, at a time, yeah, the cost to unit volume was, the math was a little different. And right, 100,000 was like a good amount of to sell for a game.
And so like, all right, you know, holy shit, we got to get in this business. We got to get like, and the thing is that when like Activision more or less like kind of like at one point, you could read all this on like various websites, so, or watch Jason Scott's Get Lamp documentary. So if I'm getting details, you look it up. I'm tired. But I'm pretty sure like at one point, like, so Activision acquires Infocom, but Infocom remained you know, in Massachusetts, and then at one point when like, you know, their sales were, you know, shitty and stuff like that, they invited like they were like, we're shutting down your offices, I guess if you want to move to California, maybe you can. And I don't think very many people took them up on that, so that was essentially considered the end for Infocom. And now this newly birthed Activision is like, oh, we own this tremendous IP that just made us like enough money to stabilize the company. And so the first thing they did was not Return to Zork, but they did Leather Goddesses of Phobos 2. Because Leather Goddesses of Phobos was one of the best sellers, was one of the best Infocom sellers. So I assume that was probably why like they're like, all right, well, let's do that. And they brought back the designer Steve Maritsky to do that. And my understanding is that it is not good. I have not played this game, so I can't speak to it, but it was poorly reviewed, and like I don't think it sold very well, and so that was it for
I think it's supposed to be considered quite easy as well. So adventure heads in particular were like, "What this is we don't like this."
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, well, all right, like, okay, so the Infocom magic might not stick to everything, but they still have one of the most like enduring trademarks, which is Zork.
RTZ.
And so without any of the original implementers, as they were called, a design team got to work making Return to Zork.
Now Ben, we talked about this briefly, but this is a game that has a lot of really interesting ways you could approach it. Can I kind of run through some of the big themes I noticed, but maybe we'll see what road you want to go
down. Like big themes in the game, or like usually I kind of work through each, like I kind of corn cob, with Jess here, right?
I agree, Ben. Well said.
All right, and I'll maybe I'll hold on. And here, actually, Jess, how about you start saying this one now?
Great point, Ben.
Well, all right. What's the plot, Grayson? What is the plot of Return to Zork?
That's where I hope we wouldn't start, because it's I mean it's got a kind of, in general,
plot, right?
In general, it's this kind of farcical fantasy world, right? Kind of the mode of the time. Like, I wouldn't compare this favorably to like a Douglas Adams or a Terry Pratchett, but like that kind of like silly farcical genre humor was like a way that these kind of stories were told at the time. And this one, like the premise is basically that you're some dude, you get a letter in the mail, you've won a sweepstakes to go to some magical land where
it's in front of the historic White House.
Yes.
From Zork 1.
Also kind of a speaking of the Zork lineage, this game was, I think, the first time a lot of this stuff was visualized in a game. But yeah, you win a sweepstakes to go somewhere. It's like an all expenses paid trip and then you have to sit and watch like a timeshare presentation. These are all very funny jokes in 1993. Sweepstakeses, timeshare presentations. But then, yeah, you basically walk down to you start the Valley of the Vultures.
Yeah, which is the reward is that you get to go to the Valley of Sparrows, the scenic Valley of Sparrows, where the town Shanbar is to go hang out. And it's become the Valley of Vultures.
So yeah, your sort of idyllic sweepstakes winning trip immediately kind of becomes this strange fantasy journey. You eventually head down, you talk to you meet various kooky characters, a lighthouse keeper, the of course famous Want Some Rye guy,
the town drunk,
the town
beggar under the bridge.
Yes, the waif. eventually you make your way to East Shambar or West Shambar. You start
in the Great Underground Empire. It's sunk down.
Yes.
Into Zork world.
You start to kind of poke your head into a very strange fantasy realm, Zorkland, and I think there's some Morpheus villain.
So as you try to there is a mystery.
We're giving the plot way too much credence here. This is such a thin plot.
It is. Everybody is very concerned because, West Shambar, which is above the ground, which is just a town hall, a schoolhouse, an abandoned gift shop, and a decrepit hardware store.
And a waif.
And a waif. Oh, and the mill.
And the mill.
Is half a town, and the other half of the town vanished one day. And so as you play, it's revealed that evil wizard Morpheus has I think it's that they he rediscovered, because over the course of the game it's revealed that they they got rid of evil magic, and it's specifically called that, evil magic. And this Morpheus has brought it back, and so you have to defeat evil magic. And that's it. You have to through the help of and you work with a whole bunch of weird people who are concerned. This is one of my notes, and Grayson, we could talk about this, which is I have kind of a nostalgia for a type of adventure game that is not written by writers.
Well,
and is nonsense.
Yes. Here's one, I think that's a correct way to describe this. I will say a thing in the production of this game that is interesting is that it was made at this time when big, expensive multimedia video games were appearing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but and this has FMV, and it has 3D video transitions from scene to scene.
There's a whole
voice acting.
Yes. There's a whole technology component to this game and sort of production innovation that we could talk about. But with the writing specifically, there was a journal of game design at the time that the writer for this game, who's credited as Michelle M., she wasn't the main plot and puzzle designer. That was another guy. But Michelle M. was kind of hired to punch up all the dialogue, and she wrote for a game design journal, which in 1993, it's fascinating that there was a game design journal in 1993. But she wrote a little article about here's my tips for writers, professional writers who are entering this, at the time, brand new space. And a lot of it is very typical writerly advice, where she's talking about don't forget, kind of your general good writing practices, keep things short and punchy and don't waste the people's time. But she kind of talks about how, this isn't a video game. There might be characters might have 20 responses that they have to have ready to go to different ways people might interact with them. So she talks a little bit about the particulars of it. But to your point, Ben, I think it's interesting because this is a very silly game that moment by moment basically
just
never feels
shit happens randomly.
Yeah, but moment by moment, you're both, a lot of stuff is happening and nothing is happening. But this was the time when they were starting to throw writer resources at this. They're hey, maybe a game should have a writer and not just a programmer who can spell, or not spell, as was often the case. So I think whoever Michelle M is, I was trying to look this up. She's credited as Michelle M. In this journal article she wrote, she said she was a Hollywood screenwriter, but she has, her IMDb credits just say Return to Zork.
Oh man. Yeah, if you're listening, please please tell us, what did she do?
Literally her IMDb credits is like Return to Zork and then something from 2019. So, but she says, I mean, maybe this was a scam. Maybe she scammed her way into the job. But anyway, I thought it was interesting because, yeah, I think this game does not feel like whatever she did, God bless her, but the game is not like a triumph of writing.
I'll note that, like, so she's not the first, like, you know, at LucasArts, they bring over like Hal Barwood, who designed, he was the director of Fate of Atlantis, which came out the year before. And Hal Barwood, like, he did work, like he wrote he wrote a couple movies, none of which I've heard of other than one, which is Steven Spielberg's Sugarland Express, which I have not seen. Have you seen the Sugarland Express?
Never seen Sugarland Express.
But, like, you know, they, like, so this was, and I mean, you know, there were definitely, you know, in like, Ron Gilbert famously writes early, when they were Lucasfilm Games, you know, writes an adventure game design manifesto. So this is a little late. Like, it has been happening.
Yes,
it's not, and obviously, like
happen.
Infocom, like, the lineage of this game, Infocom was very thoughtful Massachusetts, Cambridge writers.
Yeah.
And, like, while Zork starts out as, like, kind of your, you know, college mainframe people, just kind of like the classical meaning of hackers, like, oh, I'm a hacker, I use a computer, like, you know, putting games together, like, you have, like, the aforementioned Steve Maritsky, and, like, Brian Moriarty, and like, those two in particular, they designed 2 games for Infocom that were their kind of prestige plays. Maritsky designed and wrote the game A Mind Forever Voyaging, and Brian Moriarty designed, like, Trinity, and both of those are, like, Infocom, like, expressly going, like, we're going to make something like a game for grown-ups.
Yeah,
like,
and I think right. This Michelle M,
obviously, that well predates this.
Yeah, and I think this Michelle M person writing this guide to writing for video games, I think it's less that she was the first person to do it, and I think more it's right. She's coming on the heels of a line of, oh, there are, like, good writers writing for video games, and now they're hiring writers. Then they're specifically big budget productions. Big budget productions hiring writers, and now there's a demand for advice on how to get into this industry.
Well, and also, like, kind of building on your point here, it's also that, like, you know, Return to Zork with live actors, like, this is considered the future. Like,
Hollywood,
you know,
actors, quote unquote Hollywood actors.
Sillywood was what they call, like, Silicon, like, not like, but Sillywood.
Yeah.
And so, like, you can see, like, it's like, okay, well, we have Steve Maritsky and Brian Moriarty, and we have got, like, guys like Ron Gilbert, and all these people are thinking, like, very seriously about writing for games, but they've never written dialogue for actors in front of a camera. And so it's like, oh, well, of course we're going to need Hollywood, like, someone who has some kind of professional screenwriting experience, because not only, like, you know, are we starting to make these games, but that's what games are going to be.
Yes, this is also right. If anybody forgot the timeline of this game came out, according to Wikipedia, a week before Myst. certainly in the
really
like literally the week before Mist. Obviously, this Mist and I think Seventh Guest were the big kind of CD-ROM faux forward. Yeah. So right, but no, like this was promoted as a big like a fusion of video games and Hollywood production. It was reviewed as such. There was an early,
and then it's got like this incredible brand attached to it.
They had quote unquote Hollywood actors, like they were kind of B-list TV people, which is really at the time was considered a much less prestige. Like now TV is prestigious, right? But at the time, a TV actor was a less prestigious.
Oh person. Yeah, and it has like, you know, the like I think one of the actors in it, like it's like, oh well, she was in like
Twin Peaks,
a couple episodes of Twin Peaks, and it's like I adore Twin Peaks. I'm like, who?
Yeah, these are all, and even at the time, at the time, because I was looking at some old reviews for this, that was the more negative reviews kind of pointed that out, where the more positive reviews kind of were a little in awe. I think there were positive reviews that were really tickled by the novelty of just quote unquote real actors being in a video game, and they were like, these people come from the Tinseltown, and then there were people who were like, yeah, but they're like at best ensemble TV actor, like these aren't big gets,
I mean, there's a real.
Are they big gets? Maybe they are for the time big gets.
There's a real like, and this continues today, like continues to 2026, is that video games have a real little brother syndrome
very much
towards movies in particular, like TV, sure, but like movies in particular. And like, you think about Sierra, where like, Ken Williams is thinking about Walt Disney and being Walt Disney and creating like, and this like kind of movie production process. And that, I think that was like across the board. Like I think a lot of these companies were really thinking about it. It's like, well, we gotta be the next Hollywood thing. And you said that about like, it's like, well, these actors, that strikes me as just the best they could afford, because the thing is that you could eventually get more recognized, like productions eventually did get more recognizable actors, like not
Toonstruck was actors. 2 years later, and and again, we're not talking about Christopher Lloyd isn't the biggest star in the world, but he's like you're like, wow, it's Christopher Lloyd.
In like the CD-ROM version of Star Trek 25th Anniversary comes out the next year. Like the game itself came out in 92, but the CD-ROM version with the voices comes out in 94, and that has the full TOS cast. Like it has everybody that was like like you got Nimoy. You got Shatner,
and like certainly getting people into a booth become like that's
even, but remember when on our stream some years ago we played that like 1995 Goosebumps game,
Jeff Goldblum, Isabella Rossellini,
that had Jeff Goldblum and Isabella Rossellini. Now I'll know Isabella Rossellini shows up for like all of, let's say, 5-10 seconds. Like it's a
short scene.
But I mean, there were definitely like real actors that were like, oh yeah, like or maybe not even the actors, but like their agents who are like, oh, maybe this might be a thing you can get in on the ground floor of.
And and there was a real sense that there was, right, it wasn't just that video games are the next big thing. There was a sense that these forms would kind of fuse at some point, that there would be like interact, like they're right, quote unquote, like interactive multimedia experiences would be the future of entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Netflix is still trying it.
Yeah.
Like Netflix is still trying this. Like all these, like it is an idea that every 6 or 7 years, somebody's like, all right, I think we got it.
Can I go on a little tangent? There's one thing I found when looking up stuff about this game that I do want to just read this story. Speaking about interactive storytelling, which was there was a magazine, magazine PC Games. Before Return to Zork came out, they were doing a little preview of it, and they have a quote from a designer of strategy games from the era, Chris Crawford. And he kind of talks a little bit about how he's skeptical.
What else did Chris Crawford do?
He did I'm
looking him up.
You look it up. Okay. Anyway, he kind of, Chris Crawford kind of talks a little bit about how he's skeptical.
Did Patton Strikes Back.
Yeah. Well, very, very well selling.
All these like war games that I've never heard of. All right.
Anyway, he has a kind of a quote about how he's skeptical of this technology because he sees it as non-interactive and kind of a gimmick almost, where he's like, yeah, but it's a video game. I can't play
It's saying that the Emperor has no clothes. He calls it immediately. He's absolutely calling it out. He's right.
Yeah, and this has always been a tension, right? This is a tension to this day of how much game does a game need to have a game? This is still something people get argumentative about.
What a wonderful sentence you said there.
But I had mentioned this guy because I was like, oh, who's Chris Crawford? I'm going to look him up.
I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
There we go. Well, Jess disagreed.
But I want to, if I can, I want to read this entire Wikipedia quote about Chris Crawford. In 1992, so about the time he was quoted, Crawford withdrew from commercial game development and began experimenting with ideas for a next-generation interactive storytelling system. So he was thinking about this too.
Mm-hmm.
Flash forward to 2018. In 2018, Crawford announced he had halted his work on interactive storytelling, concluding that, quote, it will take centuries for civilization to embrace the required concepts. I don't know what he was... The link to that quote is cited. The link no longer works as far as I could tell. I have no idea.
He wrote a pretty big book, Chris Crawford, on game design.
I'm sure he did. But so I don't know what he was cooking that he thinks is centuries ahead of human civilization. But all that's
his third eye opened. He actually saw some twisted shit.
All that's to say, people were so hyped up about this fusion of media storytelling, right? They were like, there were people who truly thought that, like, yes, this is the future. We are on the track to the future. Eventually, we will have movies that we jack into and are part of, and we press buttons, and I don't know what happens. But
I wonder what he thought about like the Oculus. Like if that was like a thing where he was like, oh my God. And now like today, like VR is essentially like, just I hesitate to say over. It's more of just a weird niche thing.
We as a society got access to consumer level, pretty affordable consumer level, very good VR. And we were like, nah, it gives me a headache. I don't want it.
Yeah, exactly. It gives me a headache. It gives me a stomach ache. That's that. Like,
because in 1993, VR was having a moment back then too, and not to sidebar about VR too much, but it was kind of part of this milieu of exciting technology that was all obviously a little needed to be in the oven for a while. It was like, oh, this is so promising. And then eventually it's like, oh, wait, no, there was...
You could buy this. You don't even need to hook it up to your computer anymore. You can just stick it on your head and it will teach you how to play the piano. And it's just like...
Okay.
I mean, the best company is owned by absolute shitheads. Right. The best technology is owned by Meta, like truly vile company. But anyway...
But Ben, one to get back to Return to Zork, a question I have. Let's just maybe let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Ben, do you like Return to Zork?
Of course you do.
Did you like Return to Zork? We streamed it. I forget what you thought about it.
So, all right, cards on the table, right?
Yeah.
Return to Zork is a bad game. It's a poorly designed adventure game.
I think I agree. And in my head,
allow me to finish my thought.
Yes.
But
there's a but. Okay. I thought it was a period.
But it is so strange. It's a deeply odd and strange game in so many ways. In all the multimedia stuff, which we talked a lot about, the graphical style, the music, which is exceptional. I talked a little bit about how I like the writing, the plot of the game, not so much not talking specifically about the dialogue, which itself is very iconic and memorable itself, but the plot of the game where it's just you go down, you rappel down a cliff or something, and there's and there's a comedy club.
Yeah.
There's a stand-up club at the bottom of this cliff,
and not a fantasy stand-up club. It's just a brick wall,
a straight up
1984
stand-up club. Some of the performances in this game are absolutely wild. The interface, I think, is fascinating. Let's put a pin in
the interface. That was a major.
I'm touching everything.
Yeah.
Which is to say, I don't hate this game. I think it's a bad game, but it's a game that has so many interesting things that it really fascinates me. It's a very fascinating game. And so I find myself drawn back to it every couple of years or so, because there's just so much strange and compelling things in it, and then I get really frustrated at something
actually
and then
playing
I quit.
it. Yeah. When you mentioned this as a topic to discuss, because we streamed it a couple of years ago. It's been a minute, but as soon as you mentioned it, 5 or 6 scenes popped into my head from the game, and it is one of those games that you do walk away from it remembering stuff, just odd little surprises, or just screens that you're like, why am I looking at this now? My big impulse playing it again for this podcast is I might pick this if I was I wanted to give to a complete newbie to adventure games of the era, not the best game, obviously, not the weirdest necessarily. I might be this is the most stereotypical point and click.
You said this to me earlier, and I would like you to expound on this. I'm curious what you mean by this.
Okay, so a couple of things. One, it demonstrates a lot of the technology of its era that was considered novel and interesting, including not only the FMV and the kind of hardware stuff, but even the interface was novel. Mm-hmm. The user interface. I think it's very arbitrary and mean and weird in ways that I think that's kind of the reputation adventure games have with some people. Sure. It's a game that will absolutely it teaches you to save a lot. It's that kind of game that will destroy you if you click the wrong directional arrow. It has really classic problems with adventure games. It has the soft locks and the dead ends.
It has mazes.
It has mazes.
It has a mosaic.
It has, and then it's got all these little mini puzzles. It has its own little board game you have to play. So and that's a big, that's like the climax of the game. That's like the game actually turns around and is like, haha, that was important. So again, I use stereotypical in the, like, if you ask someone to describe almost what they think a sort of platonic point and click adventure is, warts and all, you would get pretty close to Return to Zork.
Because I think if I think someone, if you said like platonic adventure game, they'd probably say Secret of Monkey Island.
That would be that's why I say stereotypical, because I think Secret of Monkey Island would be like, hey, what's the best one, right? A lot of people go to that. But if you go, hey, what game kind of wraps up a lot of feelings associated with adventure games, good and bad.
What an interesting.
Good and bad. Maybe more bad than good with Return to Zork, but again, I think the fact that it's got a sort of gravity to it, where you're like, yeah, it's certainly not good.
It's very compelling.
You're walking away with something.
There's a certain type of alchemy to a game where you knock, or rather you ring the bell of a school door, like outside a school door, and the teacher, a very stereotypical like kind of rendering, like she's got
School
like
marm,
kind of the angled,
yeah,
like the angled glasses with the chain and stuff, and like a high pitched voice, and then she immediately gives you a quiz on, in the CD version, it is what is the third day of the week?
It's copy protection, right? She gives you the copy protection quiz, yeah.
Which apparently on the disc version, I was reading, somebody posted this, I think, like I was reading in, I think, comments somewhere. Like the floppy disk version, the copy protection questions were considerably harder. I will say that when I got I first played this game in, I'm gonna say like probably 96. So three like around 96, 94, 97. Like it was like a clearance box that like somebody was like, here you go, happy birthday. And this like clearance section box of it just had like the CD in a jewel case, and the Encyclopedia Franz Basica, which I don't think could, no wait, you know what, I don't think, actually I take it back, it was just the jewel case. It did not come with the Encyclopedia Franz Basica. I got that I got that many years later, and then was like, oh, that's how you get the, I thought when I played it, because most CD games didn't have copy protection at the time. That it was on a CD was the copy protection. I thought that the puzzle when I played it as a 10-year-old was that was to find the names of the days of the week, which you can find in the files,
yes,
in like the town hall. And so like in the town hall there were like there's files that you can go through, and it says what the day that it was filed at the top. And so I like noted all of those down, not knowing which order they were in, but I just saved the game before she asked, and then would just be like, try them. And then it wasn't until many years later that I got the Encyclopedia Franz Basica, which has all the days.
Oh, and it's just copy protection, right?
I was like, I thought it was just some sort of like puzzle, and I brute forced my way through it, which is funny. But yeah, anyway, like that was a real side tangent. Like I, you know, there's a certain alchemy to this game where like you walk into that school and she asks you what the day of the week is, and if you get it wrong, I think you die, or maybe she just kicks you out and you're dead ended. And
it's a very mean game in that way. There's a lot of ways to both. Well, the deaths are almost generous because you died, right? You could just reload, and there's a lot of soft locks in the game.
It is, but I don't know. There's just something I think about, like, so obviously everyone who's ever played the game knows this.
Want some rye? Of course you do.
People are listening to this podcast anticipated that I would play that clip.
Right.
Like it is because every time you enter Booze's mill, he says that.
Yes.
And you do that, and it's right at the top of the game.
Yes. And I, as somebody who just played through that part of the game, pretty honestly, I kind of forgot the exact solution. So I was puzzling around that room for a little bit. I probably heard that sound.
Want some rye? Of course you do.
I probably heard it 50 times, like literally 50 times.
The solution is in the files in the town hall. Where
I got through eventually. I got to East West Egg, whatever it was.
Here's I've actually done. It teaches you, like, because what it is what Booze is doing is he's doing a traditional series of toasts. So it's like, what's the rye? Of course you do. Here's to us, who's like us, damn few, and they're all dead, I think is what it is. And so I've done that. I've done that with someone because I'm cool. There's another there's another one which, like, adventure game fans that have kind of memed. Obviously Want Some Rye is the winner, but this is another pretty memorable line delivery.
Go away, I haven't got anything for you. I've only got one milk cow, and she only eats carrots.
Oh, that is such a. Speaking of this game, just
why is there an Irishman?
Yeah,
and why is it playing like an Irish? Like if you listen in the background there, it's playing like kind of like a da 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 da.
Yeah,
like
it's a good example of again. This is a game that you turn a corner or you click on something, and all of a sudden you have no idea what you're looking at. But this Irish guy is talking to you about carrots, right? And
it's Eric Adams, New York.
Yeah, there's a story around every corner. Now, I do think this is something, again, of the era that is important to remember, which is videos and kind of unique illustrations and stuff like that. Those are rewards for a player. Just finding more stuff, especially at the time when video on your computer was such a novelty. Just clicking through this game and seeing a weird Irishman yelling at you at 20 frames a second, or maybe less, but like that was already the like finishing the game is whatever. Just seeing a bunch of crazy shit was the appeal of this. Where this is actually something that Chris Crawford guy was talking about when he was talking about Return to Zork. You know, he mentions the use of video segments as rewards, explicit. Like these were explicitly designed to amuse you, just seeing a video. So I think there is an argument that I might even make a little bit that for all the bad puzzle design and kind of questionable writing of Return to Zork, it is a game where you see a bunch of kooky shit. Like, you know, it gives you that reward over and over and over again. And eventually you either beat the game, unlikely, or you just hit a dead end and you're like, all right.
I got my money's worth. I saw, like, because, you know, here's what, like, because when I play this game also, I can feel the tickle behind my eyes of, even in like 1996, even removed from, like, you know, years later, when kind of the bloom is off the rose of like this kind of multimedia era, and we're starting to move into like real-time 3D. I can still feel the excitement of seeing the FMV 3D animation, of seeing when you go up the lighthouse stairs and there's this like 3D animation of you like zooming up a spiral staircase of a lighthouse in that very iconic, like pre-rendered, like early to mid 90s 3D. like in my mind, that will always be the future.
Right.
And the game is very generous with little video. Like, it's like shortly after that, you ride a raft down a river and you watch a little animation of riding a raft down a river. And that's amazing to me. You know, it's
very generous with those little animated sequences. And again, I think
especially early on,
the game had reasonably popular reviews at the time. The negative reviews, as you might expect, are kind of focused on the puzzling, which is the puzzles are bad. It's like I don't think there are many people on Earth who would, be shooters for specifically the puzzle design in Return to Zork.
Grayson, I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
Wow, Jess? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Jess is signaling to me that he wants that he's kind of done talking about the game and he wants to talk about food again.
I guess you could call it my return to spork.
Oh, well, I'm glad Jess was here tonight.
He is here.
I'm glad he is here tonight.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the interface? Because the interface is pretty cool.
So a thing I was struck by, again, I was reading some old previews of the game.
Tell me about how were they talking about this game in previews?
So there was I think Computer Gaming World had this real early preview where, and this is, again, the sign of the times. The preview was they invited, Activision invited a reporter to come tour the soundstage, right? That was, so the preview was very kind of, wow, there was this reporter being wowed by the production.
Doing a little razzle dazzle.
Yeah, there's right. So there was definitely a part of the hype of it was like, oh, holy shit, here we are in the multimedia CD-ROM era. Obviously, CD-ROMs were like, oh my god, 800 megabytes.
I mean, and think about, I think they were 650. Think about how not that long ago, like, so it's like, when was this preview? Like 92?
It was like, I believe 92, yeah.
And so it's like, okay, like, so, you go not even, like, you go 7 years before, and it's all like CGA graphics.
Yes, this is all
like,
rapid.
Some 16 color, like in, King's Quest 1 comes out in what, 1984, 85, right? Around that. Like,
so this is not even 10 years later, right? This is
like,
this
and
is
it's like, now rapid. We've got like actors on a soundstage and like live produced music. Like, holy shit.
And the people, the people who are more razzle dazzled by all this, they would just kind of refer to, right, the word Hollywood was thrown around a lot, right? They'd be like Hollywood actors on stage, right? But also the interface was the kind of, this smacked of marketing speak to me, but there was, again, you have to put your 1993 goggles on. User interfaces were a new field of research. So like the advertising for Return to Zork would mention that the UI was like inspired by research happening at MIT, right? They were really pushing that. The manual itself hypes up the interface. Now, Ben, describe the interface, because I think it's all based on this diamond.
First off, it is. I'm going to rewind a little bit and say that it's like, because also 93, we're not that far into like the mouse era of adventure games, where like games are fully like, and it's like Maniac Mansion is in the 80s, so we still have a little, but like, this is it is trying to harness a like kind of the sense of like kind of composing a text adventure sentence. And there is actually recently a former guest of the show, Josh Mandel, designer of Freddy Farkas and many other games, gave a talk at Narrowscope this year, which you can watch on YouTube. And he actually, I believe on the podcast, he said he was thinking about doing something like that. And in this talk, he discusses kind of, and he's not the only person who designed games that I've heard like say some sort of version of this, is that moving over to point and click from like a text parser was painful for a lot of designers. They didn't like it because it really limited like kind of the freedom both for the player and for the designer. You are winnowing down what seems like unlimited options to, however many verbs they decide to go with on the screen. And so in Return to Zork, their solution to that is that it's kind of like a verb coin, but what it is that like when you click on something to interact with it, or if you use an item, you get a diamond which fills up with actions that you can take, and
they're contextual.
Yeah, they're all contextual. So it's like, so if you're using like, let's say you click the knife on a person, it will say like give knife, show knife, attack. Like it gives, instead of being like, say the scum engine where it's like push, pull, turn on, turn off, so on and so forth. It is specific to each item or whatever you're doing. And so that is a really cool thing, and it is an interesting solution to that problem that was really vexing designers at that moment.
And the big kind of UI, like in the field of user interfaces at the time, the big kind of innovation there was, instead of like the verbs existing, let's say at the bottom of your screen statically, the point of interest was where you clicked on. This diamond would appear where you click. And so the kind of UI innovation was, the UI is where it's wherever it needs to be. If you're clicking over here, the UI is over there. If you're clicking over there, it's over there.
Star Trek had that in '92. Yeah.
So that's kind of why a verb, again, the verb coin is such a normal adventure game thing now, but at the time that was the innovation. But to your point, Ben, about how do you design around this, right? If this diamond only had solutions to clues in it, or to puzzles in it, it would streamline the game too much, right? So you have to put in deliberately useless actions. That's how you kind of maintain the puzzleness of it. And I will say, even given that, one of the people who didn't like this game as much, the contemporary reviewers, one thing they didn't like was that it was a little too linear as a puzzle game. I think it kind of is. It has some notoriously strange puzzles, or unfair puzzles, and a lot of random deaths. But most of your progress is pretty straightforward. I'd say 90,
a lot of clues. It does. It's the game does clue you on a lot of stuff. It's more that sometimes the clue might not be where you want it to be. Like, because a thing you have to do is like take photos of everybody and then like show, like you can show photos of people to other characters, and that's how you talk to And here, while we're talking about the interface, let's talk about what's the dialogue interface, which I would say is considerably less successful.
Yes, that also a little innovative, points for trying, I guess, which is at the time, the idea that you'd be a blank protagonist, right? It's like, well, how do you allow a blank protagonist to talk to people? And so they kind of go with moods and kind of aspects almost, where it's like, all right, I'm talking to this lighthouse keeper. You'll have a threatening, apologetic, like you'll have moods that you can talk to this person in.
It doesn't. Often, I think what really kind of bumps me on that, like, again,
it sounds like point, a good idea.
I understand where it's coming from.
Yeah,
I think what it is that like every other game kind of cues you to when it is to push those inputs, where the game does not cue you. Like, it's just like, this person's just going to talk, and there are invisible to the player points where your inputs on the mood reaction thing are accepted.
And and like, I would say it's underused in general in the game. So when you do use it, it's kind of surprising. Also, it's not 100% consistent, where sometimes, like, I noticed this when talking to Booze in the mill, at some point you have to ask him for keys, but ask for keys is a context action within the diamond rather than a dialogue option, right? Even though it is.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, I forgot.
So
about
I think it's again, if someone explains this to you on paper, you're like, oh, okay, so you have moods instead of specific dialogue options. It's like, oh, that sounds fine. And then it just wasn't implemented very well, which is maybe what you could say about a lot of Return to Zork. But a lot, again, at the time, a lot of this was like, oh, what a fun new way to do this. Even if it wasn't literally the first, it was, considering this game was quite popular, this was going to be a lot of people's first time with this sort of new, almost at the time, experimental interface.
Yeah. The chat, and then, like, the thing is that after that, then, as I said, you can talk to them, and you can use all of your, like, you can ask them about every inventory item, to which they mostly have generic responses. You can ask them about every location on the map, and then you can ask them about every photo that you've taken. Those are all options.
Yes. Another problem with the game, which is if you're not following a walkthrough, the amount of brute force stuff to run through with every single character in the game is so big. Where if you're stuck and you're looking for some clue on how to get past a puzzle, you can talk to a dude, and you might have 20 items in your inventory plus 20 photographs plus every point on the map, and you're just clicking through and praying that you trigger something.
Like, eventually he'll, there will be something. Can we talk a little bit about the music in the game? Like, so I played the intro earlier. I've got another tune that I really like. Here we go. Like, there are little leitmotifs in it too, like the da-na-na, like is in most of the tunes in this. And that's for, like, I think only one scene.
Yeah.
This is something I don't understand, and maybe there must be, like, a technical reason for it, which is that there are like this wonderful CD track audio, which they were CD tracks, so you could just pop that into your boombox and listen to them. But then there's also, like, kind of mild MIDI tracks that play, and then sometimes there are some scenes where it's just playing the MIDI version of the CD track, And I'm like, well, why isn't it playing like the nice version? Like, sure, like maybe maybe it's a bug, maybe there's a technical reason that I'm like, because I'm sure playing like the CD track, is taking some level of resource from the CD-ROM. Like, and you're probably you're working with launch CD-ROM drives, so can't really be asking for too much from them. So maybe that's it. I don't know. That always kind of bothered me. One thing I really like about the music was, as is like, I'll pull up. So the intro tune will always have a very special place in my heart, like this. Kind of a Batman type theme.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I can hear it.
The very Batman type theme. So when I was in high school and college, my like friends and I would, like we had like mini TV cams, and we'd make movies in our backyards and basements, and driving around our hometown. And we made one movie that we scored, I think almost entirely, not entirely, but almost entirely, with the Return to Zork soundtrack.
So you're intimately familiar with this.
I'm very familiar with this music.
It's funny. I'm looking at the credits, the music credits specifically, and it seems like, if I'm reading this correctly, just kind of hired guns. They had some work. They hired some orchestra people. I don't even know who like wrote the music. Particularly maybe this Joel.
Moby Games.
Yeah, Joel Iwataki. This is why I'm thinking maybe kind of hired guns, because here's the person credited as arranger for the game. He did Return to Zork in 1993. The first credit, 2012, Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Well, he stayed with Activision.
Next credit, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. But all this to say that, like, these just seem...
Bobby knew who to call. He picked up the phone. He said, I remember your great work on Return to Zork.
But all this is just to say that these don't seem like specifically video game. Like, this isn't like...
Drop him into IMDb and see if he did anything like in TV.
Oh, good call. But I would be really curious if they just like called up someone like an orchestra, and this guy, Joel Iwataki, as he's got Rogue One, Iron Man 3, Inside Out, Coco. Those are good music.
Like, that's real. Those are real scores.
He seems like
Coco in particular has extremely good music.
Hold on, we're doing research in real time. This is this is what it must have been. Going back to the Hollywood thing, this guy was a working movie mixer, scoring mixer. He worked on Demolition Man in '93, big movie.
Whoa.
Alien 3. So they must have spent some of that money, and they're like, we want Hollywood music in this game. We want that Tinseltown sound.
Can you make our Zork light comedy adventure game have a Batman theme?
This guy makes Three Ninjas Kick Back. What a career.
Yeah. So incredible. The music in Return to Zork will always have a special place in my heart, because I'll always think about the movies I made with my friends Steve, Paul, Andrew, and Travis. Like like and the nice thing about it was that no one ever called it, no one ever recognized it.
Yeah. No one was ever like, oh, is that Return to Zork?
No, I made it.
Someone's like, oh, I know that's from Zork Nemesis, and you're like, close.
But yeah, the music, it is, as you said, like, it is a real picture of a point in time where this game which can be very arbitrary and cruel to players, is also like sells really well. Does
it was one of the best selling games of the year. Great. Which is in it, which obviously Myst was all like, there were other really popular games, but like
what happened with Myst?
I think they kind of fizzled out pretty quickly. They never made another one. There was never a sequel to Myst.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Jess, what do you think? Do you have anything to say about Return to Zork?
This really reminds me of Norco.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it does have.
Jess has not been able to stop thinking about Norco.
But yeah, I mean, it does also, to your point, has a potpourri of puzzles. The arbitrary board game puzzle. Ugh.
It's not even a good one. It's really it's not good. They try.
As far
as I can tell, it's an original board game. Like they invented a board game for this game, but not very compelling, especially one that's used in the climax.
Yeah, you play it once, and that's how you get a sword. And
you
then
that buff blacksmith.
Oh my God, there's a sexy black.
We could have re-recorded this entire podcast just talking about our favorite characters.
Yeah, the sexy blacksmith.
The sexy witch.
A lot of sexy characters. They knew what's up.
They knew what we wanted.
There's a wizard that's a duck.
There's a lot. Canuck. You unducked Canuck. That was where I thought, oh, this game is doing a little. That game's having a little fun. There's a wizard named
having
Canuck.
A lot of fun.
There's a guy named Canuck who's turned into a duck, and when you cast a spell to turn him back into a man, it says on screen in text, it says, "You unducked Canuck."
Do you think
I wrote it down? It's in my notes.
Do you think there was a victory lap taken around the Activision offices that day?
I think so. Some guy was like, Terry Pratchett, go to hell. I'm the funniest fantasy writer around. I'm unducking Canuck over here.
You unducked Canuck. Horrible. There's it does do you the kindness of giving you pretty late in the game fast travel, which at least there's that. At least you
can also, I will say there are some for how much you can dunk on this game for some of the puzzle design. There are some, especially for the time, kind of quality of life things. You can turn off the transitional FMV animations, which again are very fun.
Why would you ever do that?
Why, right? Maybe you would do it if you're on your 100th run of this game trying to beat it, where you're just.
I can also see that as I don't know how much of the game was offloaded onto the hard drive and how much was still on the CD.
It might be a performance thing.
If you have if you have a single speed CD-ROM and you're just trying to go up the stairs, you just hear your CD and you're just like, just let me get
up there.
I gotta tie a rope so I can get to whatever, that place where the priestess is. Did you know when you were doing your research, did you look up the various versions of this game? Because this is a game with some versions. There is a floppy disk version, which to my understanding isn't materially too different. Obviously, it's not going to have the video. It's not going to have the voice acting. But also there's the real real magic version. Have you watched clips of this? The real magic version of Return to Zork?
No, I don't think so.
You got it. And if you are listening to this and you have not watched, to explain, Real Magic was this like technology that they were like this video CD technology that they were trying out, where like I think you had like a special drive or a special card.
It was hardware based. Yeah, it was like a big
which had an MPEG decoder on it. And so when you see the video clips, the FMV video clips in Return to Zork, in the version generally in circulation, they're, you know, what you expect. It's a 1993 DOS game. Like, it's very like compressed and artifacted, and like the video segments are short before they're replaced with a like 4 still frames kind of moving around with like, and then their mouths like kind of Pac-Man as they play voice audio. The Real Magic version has like full video, and it looks great. Like, the video like looks very high quality, and it's like high frame rate, and it doesn't have the artifacting. And it was like, I think a couple years ago, like it was a total pain in the ass to get emulated, and so, and I think it still is, but it's now possible to do it. And so a couple years ago, people started streaming the Real Magic version of it, and so you can see the videos in full blazing, like high resolution, high frame rate, and it actually looks really cool.
That is something I need to
and
look
also the
up.
dialogue is different. There are gameplay differences.
Wow. Okay.
So like it is worth checking out if you want to see more. And of course, like a high quality version means all of those costumes look extra dog shit.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. Man, they look cheap in DOS. They do not look expensive. And that is some of the research I was doing about this, they did talk about that. And right at the time, it's like this expensive piece of hardware. It would often come just with the game packaged in, as it kind of had to, because it's like a $400 piece of hardware. And right, it was kind of a market question at the time of like, do consumers want this? Are they going to spend this much money to improve the resolution and frame rate of their video on their home computer? What? Like, does anybody give a shit about that? And I think it wound up being a relatively small seller. Like, obviously it was not the version most people played. But you know, it was kind of looking forward a little bit to a future where it's like, yes, of course, people want to watch video on their computer. Of course they do.
But it was also ported in Japan to the Sega Saturn.
Oh, really? That'd be fun.
Which I'm just kind of scrubbing through it now and hearing like Japanese dubbing on those same actors, which is
that'd
very
be fun.
funny.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So anyway, Grayson, do you have anything else to say from your research or from your notes? Because I've run through most of my notes. There's one last thing I wanted to touch on.
I do. I think we hit pretty much everything. I just think it's such a great snapshot of the multimedia experience of the time, not just for the FMV usage, but even within the game. Like, you have we didn't mention this, I don't think. You have a quote unquote working tape recorder in game that you can use to play voice clips back, to solve puzzles. Like, it was really all bought in on this multimedia experience. And I think it's such a you know, for a game, I think I spent $6 on Steam to kind of tootle around in it for an hour or two. I had a great time.
The last thing I'll say is that, so when we streamed it many years ago, we didn't actually finish it. There is an infamous final puzzle before the final boss board game challenge. where you have to like throw all of your inventory items into a chasm and it makes a bridge rise up. I've never understood this, but whatever. Anyway, people in our like in the chat were like going like, oh, by the way, this like if for whatever reason your inventory isn't all correct or whatever, you can just be soft locked here. And that's exactly what happened. And I was just like, well, that was Return to Zork.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 really brutal soft locks in the that one's almost even. I think it's possible it can be glitched because we threw in theory you don't need as many items as we had, but something was wrong. There's another item. There's the vine at the start of the game. Another soft lock.
Yeah, the so it wasn't until I was preparing for this and then like watched like a long play. I've actually never seen the end of the game until I watched that. And so like I watched the end of the game, which is like they play the fucking board game with Morpheus and then he's defeated and all the good wizards win and
evil magic loses.
Yeah, and it's like evil magic is over. Good magic has won, which is very, whatever. But anyway, there's a really funny thing that happens in the final FMV, which really made me laugh watching it, which is like the final FMV, you see like every character, every actor they got in the game, including like little incidental ones, like these dwarves that you meet briefly. They all like stand and wave at the camera. Like it just like kind of gives you like a slide, like a little video slideshow where it revisits every like exterior and interior, every character in the game. They look at the camera and they wave. It really made me laugh. And then you finally see what's his name, the guy from the very beginning, and he's just like, I'm gonna have to talk about strategy with you.
Rooper, or something like that.
Or it's like Rooper or Roper, Ebert and Roper. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Return to Zork. It is a game.
It's a game.
Grayson, if someone appreciated all the interesting research that you put into this podcast appearance, where could they enjoy something like that?
You can go to a blog called I Might As Well Explain the Joke. It's called I Might As Well Explain the Joke.com. That URL was available. Can you believe it? It's a blog about jokes in the context of American history, where they come from, why they were popular. The most recent one was about the poem, the little schoolyard poem, Beans, Beans, the Musical Fruit, where I think that might have come from. And that's the trajectory that took. And I'll give a special preview only for podcast listeners.
Okay.
The next one, it releases the first Monday of every month. So the next one's going to be about a week after this comes out.
Yeah.
It's going to be about the origin of license plates that say honk if you're horny. It's going to be an exploration of where those came from.
So it's not like not bumper stickers or license plates that
or bumper stickers.
Bumper stickers. Yeah.
I was saying the wrong thing. Bumper stickers that say honk if you're horny. If you ever wondered where'd that come from, I think I have the answer.
I think
genuinely, I think it's surprising. I think if anybody can message me before it goes live and tell me the answer, I'll Venmo you $1.
This is exciting for me because even though Grayson and I are close friends and collaborate on a bunch of projects, I never get to hear about these. So that's breaking news to me, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to hear about honk if you're horny. But yeah, it's a really really great monthly blog. What were some of the other subjects that you covered?
We talked a little bit about jokes about Elvis being alive, talked a little bit about metrosexuals, party animals who wear a lampshade on their head, And this is, this is the kind of it's got a newsletter sign up. So if you just want to get it in your email, you can do that. It's nice. I think promoting my own blog aside, I think it's just nice to have a few blogs that come out infrequently, and you're like, oh, this is up. I'll enjoy this over breakfast.
Yeah, it's something to enjoy over a cup of coffee. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Quest the Adventure Game podcast. I've been Ben.
Great point, Ben.
Oh, thank you, Jess. We were, of course, joined by Jess. Let me see. Were there any other voice clips?
Does Jess say his own name?
No.
He says sandwich. I heard him say sandwich.
Yeah. I think Jess has said all he can say. Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Oh.
Sandwich.
There it is.
Sandwich. Sandwich. Sandwich.
Well, thank you, Jess. All right, but pipe down. Jess will be back. If you enjoyed this, please give us a 5-star review. Send us an email. We love to get emails. You can send us an email at questpodcast@gmail.com. And join us next week when we discuss Space Quest 4.
I knew it.
Jess is not here, of course, so I'm going to have to ask you.
What?
About Space Quest 4. Do you have any memories? We played Space Quest 4 on my stream.
Have we streamed it? I have. Give me what's the thing that happened to Space Quest 4? I have no memories of it.
You have no memories of Space Quest 4.
They all kind of blend together. Space Quests. I know you and Jess have stronger, more pointed opinions about them. I just like
that's
to see
the time travel one where he goes like forward in time.
You see Space Quest like 7 or whatever.
Space Quest 12.
12.
And then you go back to Space Quest 1.
Yeah, this doesn't help. This is literally they're all blending together.